you can very easily go, I should be doing this. This is definitely something I should be putting time aside for. And all of a sudden you're at next year's business planning going like, I would have been a great idea to do this. Welcome back to Life at 10/10, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. I've got Matt Benelli with me today. Matt, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, my friend. The Garrett Fry, I should say.
We'll take it. We'll take it this morning. For all of you listening right now, if you're not in our business planning, go check it out. We are launched. We are moving. You get a chance to come in for 4 weeks and get business planning put together. If it's something that you know you should be doing and you're not doing it right now, all you have to do is go to 10tenths.co. Go check it out there. You'll see the banner. Click on it. You can join us in our business planning. Even if you're a little late, they're all recorded. They're all there. If this is a month afterwards and you're like, I wish I would have done a business plan with Matt and Garrett because I love those guys, you are not going to have to put that off till next year. Come and join us right now. We'd love to have you in there. With that being said, Matt, we have a great topic today, following very closely after, we had talked with Paul Schneider here a little while back, and we were talking about the power of a database. We're getting into business planning right now, and we are talking about the importance of a database. And I'm excited to go through this because this is a stumbling block for so many people. They do not know who their people are. They don't know who they're supposed to be talking with. They either spread themselves thin or they just avoid it altogether. And you know who you are. Let's have some fun with this. Matt, good morning again. Let's get going, man.
Good morning. I mean, I'm pumped because I think what's fascinating about the database, and we all have run into challenges with it at some point, but if we're going to truly run a relationship-driven business, we should really have a great handle on our database. And it's not just knowing that there's people in it. It's not just making sure that we have all of the contact information correct in it. That's obviously important. It's knowing who are your core people, who are the people that we need to truly bring value to, love on throughout our journey, who are the people that support us, because if you really want to build that sustainability, and we've had so many guests on over the past several months that have talked about the power of just knowing who your core people are, we really got to get that dialed in, and a lot of people wait too long to take the time to do that, or just don't take the time, maybe once a quarter to just kind of make sure that they have the right focus leaned in right there.
Well, I think that's it doesn't take a whole lot of time, but you definitely have to set it aside. You can very easily go, I know I should be doing this. This is definitely something I should be putting time aside for. And all of a sudden you're at next year's business planning going like, I would have been a great idea to do this. But being able to hone it down to the right people, I find, Matt, more often than not, what we do is we try to kind of bring together too large of a group. We have too many people, too many people that we're like, but if I let them go, if I don't, I mean, more's got to be better, right? Right, Matt? More's got to be better.
Oh yeah, more is better, right? Well, and I think so many people get too caught up in all or nothing, right? And they're like, oh, well, if I'm going to narrow down my database, I got to take these people off this list and all this stuff. Like, no. We're not talking about how you serve your clientele or who you market to, because your emails and your postcard campaigns and the things like that can be as big as you want it to be, as big as your budget
100%.
allows for that. That's not the point that we're talking about here. Same thing with your clients that you work with. Like, you should have good programs for post-closing follow-up, for your annual market impact reports. And that can be, if you sold 300 homes, you're going to have 300 market impact reports to do every single year. You'll have to figure that out. And we've talked about that before, and we'll probably talk about it again.
By the way, I know there's people out there going, oh my God, 300 market. If you had 300 true market impact reports to do, believe me, you don't have to worry about a whole lot of other stuff. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. And building systems for those things is important. What we're talking about is getting into who are the people that you truly should be paying attention to on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, the people that you're calling, the people that you're writing handwritten notes to, the people that you are truly loving on, because that becomes your core group. And Garrett, I do find that people get stuck in like, well, I don't want to eliminate all these people from these other things. And I just want to be very clear. We're not talking about removing people from your marketing or your customer service processes. We're talking about removing people from this anxiety that builds, Garrett, when we're like, I need to make some calls today. And they open up a database of 500 people and go, well, who should I call? Right?
Well, you said it to me when we first started working together. You always referred to a database as a warehouse. And I've always had this picture in my head of like this big warehouse that's got all these people inside of it. And it's like, okay, these are all my people. These are all the people that know who I am. I know who they are. You know, it might be light relationships. Some of them might be really good relationships. And my brain, as I've shared with everybody, works on analogies. I try to take this crazy world around it and go, well, what can I relate this to in some other way that I can make sense of it? And when I look at that warehouse, I start thinking about it as like, well, are there rooms in this warehouse? Like, there's certain rooms that's like, okay, you have a key badge, and this little badge, security badge, is going to allow you to get into certain rooms. And I'm only going to give that badge to certain people. You know, not everybody's going to get it, but it doesn't mean you're kicked out of my warehouse. Like there's a key badge to get into the main warehouse just because you know me. Come on in, be in the warehouse. But then you're like, hey, you know what? Give me your badge, and I'm gonna program it so you have special access into that room over there. And so all of a sudden they have this ability of getting into this special room that maybe this is the room where they're going to get market impact reports. Maybe it's where they're going to get phone calls. I would even go as far as to say there's another room over here that I'll give you access to if you're really good at giving referrals. Like if you're just a natural supporter of my business, supporter of my world, take me where I want to. Here, let's program that badge so you get, by the way, there's a special, like you get invited to parties. There's things that some other people don't get invited to because you get to be in that room over there. But the one we're talking about is this one that's specifically about phone calls. And it's who are the people that it's easy for me to pick up the phone, it's easy for me to have a conversation with, and they're people that I can do this with regularly reach out, and it's comfortable and it's fun. And you all know the people right now in your brain. People are popping up. I know you're seeing faces, you're seeing names where you're like, yep, them. Oh, I could easily talk. I love talking with them. It's funny when it's time to make the phone calls, you typically don't find them. You find all the people you don't want to call. You look at the list and it's all the people that you're like, oh, hell, I don't know if I want to do that. I'd rather go change the oil in my car. That's not, you know what? I need to do that right now. I'm going to go down to Jiffy Lube. I'm going to get the oil changed. That sounds like a good thing right now because I don't really want to call them right now. That's the problem. If you don't have a clean list, you don't see all the ones that are your fun people. You see all the ones you're nervous about, and then we don't make the calls.
Yeah. And then you become a transaction hunter. You just start looking for, well, who could be doing a deal right now or this year or this month or whatever, right? And that pulls you away from, and we just read Garrett Gunderson's book, Money Unmasked, and he talked about relationship capital being one of the most important things. He actually said, like, financial capital is the last thing you should worry about. Focus on mental capital and relationship capital. So like what you know and who knows you. And in real estate, we know, everybody knows. Just go ask any realtor, like, is it important to have a database? Is it important to have relationships? We're like, oh yeah, absolutely. Great. How are you managing that? How are you taking care of that? How are you lifting those relationships up? And they'll be like, well, I do 50 cold calls a day. Oh, so you're going to find new relationships every day as the priority instead of making sure you have high quality current relationships. And I think that is the mental shift there.
Matt, it feels better to bother strangers than to bother my friends. Because if we're calling and we're asking for business, which, by the way, this is a big roadblock that a lot of people get stuck in with their core database, is in their mind, I'm calling these people because I sell real estate, and at some point in there, I need to throw in, hey, just so you guys remember, I love referrals. I don't know if you knew that. At some point, we feel like we have to go there, and that is with the strangers, it's easy because I'm calling them and I'm seeing if they need help with real estate right now. And if I get rejected by them, I'm not getting rejected by one of my friends. I'm getting rejected by a stranger out here. And what a lot of people in this friend group over here, what we need to own and understand is that you're not allowed to talk about real estate. Like, unless they bring it up first, you are not allowed to talk about it. There can't be any rejection. If you lean into that person and what they've got going on and all the cool stuff in their life, it's really hard for them ever to go, will you please stop asking me about my kid? Like, I am so tired of talking about all the cool stuff my kid's up to right now. And I think it's kind of a little annoying that you actually are giving them time and attention. Like, that's never going to happen. That rejection's never going to happen. But it also is detached from being able to see but how does that turn into business? And this is where a lot of people, Matt, they give up on it way too early. They'll they make their database, they'll start making some phone calls, and they go, I don't get how this works. I mean, yeah, I'm talking with people, but I'm not getting anything out of it. What's a sure thing I could potentially get some? Oh, I know. I'll go back over to the cold calls. I'll call these leads, and hey, at least I'm talking to people that want to talk real estate. It's hard to connect the dots a lot of times, and this is where we get lost.
It is that fear of rejection that I think a lot of people get into, and they go back to transactional. And like you said, it's like, what am I getting from this? It's like, this isn't about what you're getting from it. And this is really why it's important, why we lean into crafting a vision for your life and then building the business around that, because these people that we're talking about should be the people that you want to have in your life, right? Now, yes, you may be actively reaching out and communicating maybe at a higher frequency because your profession happens to be real estate and a byproduct of conversations is more transactions for you. That's okay. Like, this isn't to say that, oh, you need to now be this like grandiose people person in life. And it's also okay that you're making these communications because you want to grow your business, but we need to disconnect the result, and that result of I'm trying to get transaction. And so you want to look to fill this particular bucket up with people that you just love being around. And in Garrett's book, coming back to that again, he breaks it down into 3 very simple categories, right? You have your friends. These are people who light you up, who lift you up, who support your goals. You support their goals. You have fun being around them. You leave those conversations and those interactions energized. Then you have your buddies. These are people that you have fun being around, but they're not necessarily supportive of your goals. They don't necessarily have the same core values. Like, you might have something that ties you together, like you're the same fan of the same sports team, so you love watching football together.
So sometimes they may tear you down a little bit too, by the way. Like, they're so much fun and we have so much history with them that you're like, these are my people. But at the end of the time, you're like, okay, I can't spend too much time with them, even though I have a lot of fun with them.
Because they might give you that little bit of a guilt trip sometime, like, oh, you're going to go do that when you can come over and hang out with us kind of thing. But they're still your buddies. And then you have your friendlies. These are people who don't really support your goals and stuff. You don't have a lot in common with them. And you just are friendly when you interact, but you don't go out of your way to spend time with them. And the group that we want to zero in on is this friends group, that top group, and how you make time to just understand that they're there. And so, Garrett, I want to just kind of talk a little bit about the tactics of this, because what we find is people might have those people identified, potentially, but they don't take the time to either classify them or qualify them in their database, or take the time to plan interactions with them. Because if you do and this isn't like you need to be spending 4 hours a day thinking about like, oh my gosh, how do I communicate with these people? We're talking about maybe like a little bit of like an hour of prep once a month with these people. And then, however much time you need each day to do your flow activities. But we have to have some time set aside, Garrett, where we're saying, hey, these are people that I want to communicate. I know what's going on in their lives. And here's some reasons why I can reach out. I can serve them. I can do something nice for them in their life this week, this month.
Well, and going back to the time side of it, Matt, like, I think a lot of people blow this out of proportion of how much time is it going to take to call these people and talk to all these people. And I think that I go back to one of my old friends, and she said that, I could try to call people when I'm going to get their voicemail. She's like, that's when I make my phone calls. And she's because like, I don't have time to talk on the phone. I've got this great group of people, but I just need to connect with them. And I think that's something I want to just put in everybody's ears, that like, it's not about a 20-minute phone call. It's not about these people that we're calling your friends.
Well, I want to say something about that, though, because that mindset is saying, I want to connect with this person, but they're not an important enough person in my life for me to spend time actually having a real conversation with them. And there's got to be a mental shift there.
I appreciate that. I actually appreciate that you kind of called that out, because again, I think that if I were to look at that, she probably had too large of a group to actually spend the relationship time that she should have been spending with them. Really good point, Matt. Good job.
We got to,
So I think
getting into the nitty gritty here.
yeah, if we're getting into the really core group, and so, but I also think a lot of these phone calls are fairly fast phone calls, especially when you're calling people regularly, when we're staying in touch with them on a normal basis. The beauty of this is where they become very fast. There's a part, and we're going back to Garrett Gunderson's book here again. There's a part he says in there when talking about relationships, and he says, the most important thing you have is your integrity. And you can't build integrity by not communicating with people. Integrity only happens when you're able to have a back and forth relationship many, many, many times, and people go, that person does exactly what they say they're going to do. That person shows up exactly the way I always expect them to show up. They never cause me any headache. They never cause me any confusion. I can always get the same thing from them. This is how you build integrity with people. It doesn't come out of thin air. And so I think, Matt, back to your point of honing in on who are the ones we really want to talk to. We really want to build those connections with them. This allows us integrity to build out. So, I have a system that I've used for years of helping people figure out who their top people are. And I don't know if we've ever talked about it on a podcast before. It's funny, out of all these episodes,
it's worth doing again.
We're going to circle back around to this. So my simple system is print out your entire database. You need to print it out. You need it in hand. This is not something you can do digitally. There might be somebody out there going, oh, but you can't. No, I get it. Just print it out. And what you need to do is go grab a couple of your favorite highlighters. And we all have favorite colors. This is one of the things I love doing with people, because usually I've had a couple people lately like, I don't have a favorite one. And they're lying. I'm pretty sure they're lying is what it is, because everybody does.
I'm trying to see. I don't even think I have a highlighter in sight.
But if you had a choice to use one, there's one you'd be like, that's the one. Okay. You take your favorite colored highlighter, and all you have to do is run down through the list of people. And when you see somebody's name jump off the page, you highlight it. One that you're like, I know that person. I love that person. I could easily pick up the phone and make a phone call to them. Not that you are making phone calls to them right now, but you could. You could connect with them. It's fun to connect with them. You highlight them. If that little voice in the back of your head goes, I think I could call them, but I'm not. They don't get it. Just keep moving down. And this list is all about quality. This is like you're giving them that program badge to get into that special room is what you're giving them right now. You're taking that opportunity to be like, all right, they have security clearance to get into this special place that I'm going to allow them into. And I can't let the wrong people in there, because if I let the wrong people in there, it actually contaminates the whole group. The whole room in there is going, how did they get in? Like, what are they doing in here? They don't even belong in here. Like, it's a very neat little group you're kind of setting up of your own special people that resonate with you. And so you're giving them this special space that now you're able to go, okay, when the time comes to make these calls, when that opportunity shows up and that list is in front of me, I'm not trying to get out of it. I'm not trying to go make excuses. It's an easy list that I just want to make these calls to. Now, there's other highlighters, and I think we should, real quick, is like, if it's somebody that you don't think you could call every 30 days, but maybe you could call once a year, give them the next color. If there's people on there, you're like, I know them, but I'd never call them, give them the third color on there. And at the end of it, whatever you're left over with, you don't know them. It's really what it comes down to. You have no idea who they are, probably should be filed away somewhere else. But the only group we're talking about right now, for the importance of this episode, is that group that gets the first favorite color. And Matt, I think this is where people get in that mindset of more is better, and they try to expand that thing out. And it's totally okay if you get done making these highlighters and you highlight people and you're like, I only got 20. And be great, that's your list.
Yeah.
Like, perfect, let's run with that.
I mean, when we when we connect this with Dunbar's number, which we've talked about a lot, this 150 for a community, that 150 doesn't have to be your best friends. It doesn't have to be the people where you're like, man, I want all of these people at my barbecue this Saturday, right? That doesn't have to be all those people. And so it's probably going to be smaller than that. And that's totally okay, because we're talking about the people that fit with your core values and your vision and mission for your life, right? Because those are going to be the people that it's easiest for you to have conversations with. And the beauty of this too, Garrett, and running your exercises, you'll find that, okay, I'm using this kind of qualification of I can call them, I'd feel comfortable calling them. But what you find is then your communication is all of these different things. And you actually are communicating with them more frequently than the 30 days. You're probably calling them, you're texting them, you're seeing them in person. It might be another parent of a child that's friends with your child, and you like, hey, cool, we bond, like, this is great. And like, I was just texting with one of my buddies this morning, and his daughter is best friends with my daughter. And I saw him Tuesday. We were texting today. I'm going to see him on Saturday. Like, I don't need to call him this week because I'm gonna see him again in person. But I also don't ever hesitate to call him if I got something I want to talk to him about. And that is the type of person that you want in here. And we can all be more intentional with these relationships. And when you take this time to go and run the highlighter through it, and you're making that physical action of this person is important to me, then you get to ask yourself another question, which is really cool, which is, how can I support this person? Because it's not about the results that you're going to get. It's about building quality relationships. And that all starts with you pushing out, not you receiving in. Because Garrett, I'll see a lot of people say, well, this person never calls me back. I don't care. Like, it's not about what they do for you, because you always got to ask. Because I always find this too, when people are like, well, that person's not really that great of a friend. I'm like, how good of a friend are you to them? Well, I mean, go in your phone. When's the last time you called them? When's the last time you texted them? And a lot of times they'll be like, oh, this might have been like 2 or 3 months ago. And I'm like, well, how do you expect them to come back to you on this too? So you got to ask yourself, how can I serve this person this month? How can I make them feel good? And it could be as simple as like, you know what? I'm going to write this person a note today. And those relationships evolve and they grow and they're great.
And I think when you look at the database, when you figure out who your people are, like you will go back to the humans have layers, onions have layers, ogres have layers. That's where it comes from. If you look at like an onion, everybody has different layers that they have in their world. And the more time you spend with them, the farther you can go down through these layers, the more you can learn about the core stuff that really makes them who they are, the really important factors that make them make decisions, choose their path in life, all this stuff. Like, we can figure that, and what got them to right here where they're at right now. Everybody's got a very unique journey that they've been on. And the more you learn and the more you take the time with them, you get to learn all this stuff, which is where quality relationships are built from. A lot of people go like, yeah, I don't have any like really close people like that. And I'll say a lot of that is because you haven't taken the time to give the effort to build those relationships. That's really what it comes down to. And this also goes to, Matt, we can only do this with so many people. And this is where Dunbar's number becomes very powerful, is that I can only have so many people I can give that time to peel back the layers of the onion and figure out what the core is. And when we understand we have a limited time to be able to do that, this is where you need to be selective. This is where doing the highlighter routine is really important, because what we're doing is we're finding the people that we can bring in to say, okay, can I spend the time with them? That they'll, if I ask the right questions, if I give them the right attention, quality, really genuine energy towards them, will they open up? Will they share? And some people will open up more than others. Some you'll learn more about. We just gather and you gather and you gather information, because this is where the quality of the concern for people and the relationships that you build, this is what gives them the trust level to say, oh my gosh, my friend needs help with real estate. Let me introduce you to Matt Benelli. You're going to love him. And the trust level that where they're just like, I have no worries about giving this to Matt Benelli, is because of all this relationship that's been built over here on this side. when you realize that every single person is going to have 2 opportunities to refer people in the next 12 months, you start doing the math on this, and this is where the business side of it comes in, where you go, oh, I see how this works. Like, there's so much business surrounding all these people here that all I need to do is be friends with them and connect with them and give them connections so that they are comfortable with me. They know that I care about them. All this business comes in on the other side. And I think that it's hard to connect the dots, but this is also, Matt, what we get to watch all the time is once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you understand how the dots connect, you're like, well, it makes perfect sense. Like, there's no other way it can happen. All that business is there. All I got to do is reach out and talk to them, and the floodgates open back up again. And it's an amazing thing when you can see it. But it's one of those pictures. You'll see them online right now where they'll say, like, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
That's literally what will happen with your database and these people.
It really is. And I think as you guys are doing your business planning, and hopefully you're doing it with us, which if you're not yet, just go to 10tenths.co/GPS and join us, because it will be one of the best experiences you've ever had with business planning. This isn't your boring, monotone, oh, let's look at your numbers and see what you need to earn and do all that stuff. We do look at numbers, by the way, because it's important. But
we should do a version like that. We're like, this is what it could be.
This is what it could be.
You know how to do that.
But one of the things that we talk about is your vision and your mission and where you want to go in life. And who are the people that you want to be around you with that? And what's great is when you do identify this database, you get to make them a priority. And then when you are structured with your routines, those priority people get the attention that you want to give to them, which creates that business, as you just talked about, as the byproduct. However, we have to have them set up as this priority. Otherwise, the byproduct doesn't happen. You know, we don't have to reopen the floodgates. They can just stay open all the time. And if you have good business systems in place, and I think this is where some people get lost, Garrett, is they don't have good systems in their business for follow-up, for follow-through. And so then they make up all the extra time that's kind of wasted there and say, well, I don't have time for these priority people in my world. Whereas if you make the time for the people first, it's going to constrict the time and force you to then be productive on the backside in your business. And you're going to love it. You're going to just have so much more fun with your life and your business. So we got to create the time to identify these people. And then you got to create the time to just be intentional about how you reach out to these people and how you contribute in their lives, because we're all busy. But when you start showing up, it's amazing how you see other people start showing up for you.
Well, and I think to kind of wrap this up, Matt, I think what I've watched is a lot of people build these lists. They're like, oh yeah, I know who my people are. And it happens too often that I'll be like, let's go look through your list. Like, let's talk about who these people are. And all of a sudden yes, they feel like they've recently talked to them. But when you really have to pick it apart, well, actually, oh my gosh, it's been 6 months since I've talked to them. I haven't even talked to them since it was last year. It was the holidays was the last time I talked to them. And I think there's a powerful connection you have with that person. You liked being around them. You feel a really strong bond with them. But it's the frequency of interaction is what we need to be paying attention to. And this is what happens when you bring this core group in, is what you're looking for is how can I up the frequency of interaction around already good relationships? And those relationships will get stronger. Opportunities will come out of it naturally. But some of them, it's not about building a better bond. It's just upping the frequency.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for here.
Yeah. You already have the skills. You already have the relationships are probably already there. That's a perfect thing to end on, is like what we're trying to figure out is how do you get higher frequency of communication with these folks? And that's going to be on you first to be intentional about it. So I love this, man. I love talking about the database because it gets me charged up to be like, all right, I need to go back and look at my people as well, because it's easy for those things to get pushed away when we have all of the other elements of life coming in. And so make your people a priority, particularly as you build your plan for 2026. We hope that you take a good look at that database and then once a quarter, review that list and just make sure that, one, you're showing up for the people you want to show up for, and maybe you reclassify a few people. You change that key card access every now and then, but I wouldn't do it any more frequently than once a quarter. Give not only make time, but also give time for those relationships to work for you. So appreciate you, brother. Thanks for exploring this one with me. Always.
Yeah. Okay, so I have an off-topic idea while we have a second here, and everybody's hopefully you're along for the ride with us. So you were saying we have like the most exciting, dynamic business planning ever, right? All right. And we were kind of joking about like, well, maybe we should make like, well, we could make the good old-fashioned boring business plan. But I was thinking we don't have to do that. They're actually offered out there all over the place. So I was thinking maybe on our website, Matt, we can be like, if you want the boring, normal business plan, here's all the places you can go. And we should just list out all the places that offer business planning. And then we can say, but if you want elite, amazing, spectacular, powerful business planning, there's only one.
Well, let us know what you guys think about that. Drop in the comments if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, go over to YouTube and just drop in the comments like, hey, should we explore that? Should we compare that? Or should we just let it be?
I think it's a great list. I think it'd be like, well, we are acknowledging they have business planning. Like, I think it's great.
Hey, right. And I think it is great. I think there's some great stuff out there. I appreciate everybody going and finding the best way for them to build a business. But I just want, and we want, I'm speaking for Garrett now too, we want you guys to have a plan that you love, that you actually follow through on, that gets used, versus the ones that I've created long ago where I create it and it just sits on a shelf, sits on the desk, or just doesn't get executed because it just doesn't align. We want you guys to have something that aligns with your life. So 10tenths.co. You can go there. There's a banner, there's a pop-up, or 10tenths.co/GPS. You can add those 4 extra keystrokes. That's the slash and then the 3 letters. If someone's like, there's only 3. No, you got the slash in there too. And if you're already in the 11 circle, if you guys are listening, you're like, hey, wait, I'm in the group program, like, and you're not in the business planning, you just got to click a button. We got that button for you. You just got to click it. And you do get full access to the 11 Circle, our group program, while we are live in business planning. So if you sign up for business planning, you're going to get access to everything. You're going to see all the recordings, all the success labs, all the things that are in there. So you're getting a ton of stuff, but it's only while we're live. The business planning itself will be accessible for many months. So don't worry. You don't have to like rush, but you can sign up now and enjoy it, build it, join us, ask questions. And I'm talking a lot about business planning now, so I'm going to let you guys go after Garrett gives his final.
I will add one last thing in here because I do think it's important. Is business planning is very personal, and there's a lot of different platforms out there. There's a lot of different ways you can go, and what you want to find is a system and a plan that you will intentionally follow, keep around you, be excited about. That is the number one most important thing.
We believe we have it.
Find a platform, and we know ours is amazing. So if you want to come check it out, please do. We appreciate all of you, Matt. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Always great.
That was awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.